Gianluigi Donnarumma's agent Mino Raiola is hoping and requesting a £40 million release clause in his new contract. Thomas Tuchel has decided on his top 3 summer targets for the summer transfer window. An update on Mason Mount's injury that worried a lot of fans, and Ibrahima Konate, who's been Chelsea linked, has a new secret release clause that people found out about, and it could be a matter of time before Chelsea or another European club activate it. All that coming up in today's video, so without further ado, let's get into it. Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have another Chelsea news video, starting off today with Gianluigi Donnarumma. So back in the summer, when we were looking at potential replacements for Kepa Arrizabalaga, there was quite a few. There was Nick Pope, Edouard Mendy, Onana, who actually got a 12-month ban from playing football because of drugs. Say no more, not saying anymore. Anyway, yeah, like there was Nick Pope, and we ended up settling for Edouard Mendy, but Gianluigi was a huge option. He was 21 at the time and would fit into the young and hungry Chelsea squad that Frank Lampard at the time was trying to build around just that hunger and the passion for trying to drag their club out the mud like Mason Mount's doing at the moment. And the best thing is, he wouldn't have costed a penny because his contract is set to run out at the end of this summer. However, we didn't sign him, and anyway, we wouldn't have got him that summer, we would have got him this summer. And Chelsea in this January were potentially trying to, I think they would have held talks for sure about signing Gianluigi Donnarumma on a pre-contract agreement. But now it looks like he's going to renew his contract after AC Milan have offered a new 5-year deal. However, Mino Raiola, his agent, doesn't get on the best with Marina Granovskaya and the Chelsea backroom staff. Apparently, he is requesting to put in a €40 million release clause into his contract so that if a team like Chelsea were in need of a young keeper, they could just sign him because he just wants some of that money. Mino Raiola, I think Donnarumma has had his ups and downs with the AC Milan fans. At one point they were all hating on him for being trash, and now he's helping them win or lead the Serie A. However, I don't see his long-term future at the Rossoneri. Now I think £40 million is a fair price, but I think if Mino Raiola were to insert a €40 million release clause into his contract, that would be doing Chelsea a huge favour, as the only other club interested in Gianluigi Donnarumma is PSG. But I think he'd probably rather move to it's probably a step down, the Serie A to the Liga, and he'd probably want to step up to the Premier League and show himself in the biggest league, the most difficult league in the world. And €40 million, he's probably worth about £60-70 million if he were to actually sell, if his contract was another 3 years and there were no release clauses involved. He probably cost upwards of £60-70 million. But if Mino Raiola were to insert a €40 million release clause, it could really be doing Chelsea a favour, as we could just activate it if we're in need of a keeper, if Edouard Mendy's career falls off a cliff and Kepa Arrizabalaga, or if Mendy gets injured, we have Kepa, that's all we have. So maybe Donnarumma may be a good safe option in the back of in net for next season. After a bright start over Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel has seen his team win 5 games and drawn 2, conceding 2 goals through Antonio Rudiger own goal. But no, it wasn't a deflection or an unlucky header going into his own net. He literally passed it in the net. He passed it into his own net. And secondly, the other goal was Takumi Minamino the other day. It was just a lapse of concentration by Kurt Zouma, and Nathan Redmond was able to pass it through to Minamino, who fake shotted. He did Azpilicueta pretty dirty. Then he did Mendy pretty dirty as well through that same thing. And then just outside the boot, finished it into the bottom corner. And we ended up drawing 1-1. But what Thomas Tuchel has thought of that performance and what he's seen of his team so far is that he needs, and he's very interested in, a focal point, in a striker, a complete striker holding up the ball, but also with pace and power and precision with his shooting. A centre half in the name of Nicolas Sula he's intensely interested in. And like I said yesterday, Marina Granovskaya has promised Thomas Tuchel that she'll get Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho for £172 million, which it's a brave promise because it's quite unlikely, but if she can pull it off, then fair enough. Now with Thiago Silva's contract running out at the end of the summer, it does look like he's going to try and renew his contract. However, nothing's been confirmed yet, and with AC Milan looking to sign Fikayo Tomori permanently for them for the future, Chelsea are in need of a centre-half. As I said it in a comment the other day, but you can't win the league with Andreas Christensen, Antonio Rudiger and Kurt Zouma. They're all solid defenders, and don't get me wrong, I do really like Kurt Zouma, especially, but you can't win a league and you can't go places with them at the back. Azpilicueta has been at the club for ages, Thiago Silva's been in the game for so long, and if we just had one more centre-half with pace that can go forwards or back, or just a solid centre-half in the name of David Alaba, he'd be perfect as a left centre-back in the 3, or Niklas Süle, who Thomas Tuchel is very interested in, trying to pry him away from Germany, from Bayern Munich, and could be able or be available for a price of only £33 million, which I think is a bargain. He's not even reached his prime yet, he's 25 years old. He can't get into the Bayern Munich first team, and when he has played games, it's only been at right back when he's 6'5". So I do think Niklas Süle would be a very good option for Chelsea's backline in the future, and Jadon Sancho has been turned to as a target once again after it did look like we were maybe gonna sign him, but we ended up going for Havertz last summer. It hasn't really paid off as we'd have hoped, but hopefully Thomas Tuchel can get the best out of him. He should be available for next week against Man United and Liverpool. All their big games, they're massive games. I don't think he'll be available for Atletico Madrid, but make sure you check out my match preview at lunchtime tomorrow to see what I think will be, who I think will be in the lineup, the injuries, and my predicted score. It's going to be a big game, but one we need to win. So in Chelsea's 1-1 draw against Southampton, the main man yet again, Mason Mount. Oh, the main man, Mason Mount. The main man, Mason Mount, in the Southampton game was his man of the match. He was the best player on the pitch by far for both teams, and his back must be really sore by carrying us so often. After the game, he was pictured with some ice on his knee, and some Chelsea fans were worried that he may not be able to play against Atletico Madrid midweek in the Champions League round of 16 tie, or even Man United or Liverpool next week. Now they're huge games and we need him fully fit to carry us. Oh, imagine a 22-year-old academy product carrying Chelsea FC. But despite holding ice to his knee after the game, he stated to the Chelsea website it was just a knock. A bit of bruising, but it'll be fine. Nothing can stop me, which is quite big words, and nothing can stop him, but it looks like he should be fit for the Atletico Madrid game. He's played it all down. Hopefully he can play. Hopefully he can play in that number 10 role with Tammy and Timo up front together, or maybe him on the right hand side of Tammy up front and then Timo towards the left of him. But we're going to need him to be on top form. We're going to need him to be on his best form. He saw Declan Rice score a penalty the other day, and he decided he needed to win one and take it himself, and he did score it. It was on the other side of the net to what Declan Rice scored, but they both scored penalties, which is quite nice to see. But we need Mason Mount to be as good as he can for the Atletico Madrid game, especially because if we can just pummel Atletico Madrid in the first round, the first leg, then we can bring him back to Stamford Bridge and just park the bus, and then hopefully advance through to the quarterfinals. After being beaten to Dayot Upamecano's signature by Bayern Munich, Chelsea are looking for other centre-half options. As I said earlier, Niklas Süle is at the top of Thomas Tuchel's radar. However, there is another Frenchman playing for RB Leipzig at the moment in the Bundesliga, who is Dayot Upamecano's partner in crime at the back. They're super solid together. They're both young French prospects for RB Leipzig, come through the academy, I think. No, I don't think this player did, but anyway. There's been a secret release clause found out that Ibrahima Konate has a £45 million release clause that any team can activate, and I think that's a fair price for him. Upamecano's release clause was about £40 million, so cheaper than Konate, but Konate is massive. He's 6'4", I think, and the 21-year-old with a €45 million release clause, I think it's only a matter of time before one of the teams linked to him, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, I think that's it, activate the release clause and sign him before their competitors and try and bring him to the Premier League. And I think he would be a very good fit for Chelsea, as he fits in well with the French backline. Edouard Mendy speaks French. Azpilicueta, you heard it all before. Kurt Zouma, obviously. N'Golo Kante in the midfield. Thiago Silva speaks French. Olivier Giroud, he doesn't really play though. Another player that Chelsea have been linked to in the past, about a season ago, I remember in the summer, there was a guy that no one had ever heard of, Pau Torres. He plays for Villarreal, and he looked like a solid centre-half. Chelsea were just sniffing around a little bit, not sure if they were interested or not. Ended up, nothing really happened at all. And Real Madrid are actually interested in maybe securing a signature. There's been another release clause, found out that he has a £65 million release clause, but I don't think anyone's gonna activate that anytime soon because he's not really worth anywhere near that. I think he's worth something like 20-30 million pounds. So I don't think anyone's gonna activate the £65 million release clause, considering that's actually more than Erling Haaland. Now, Pau Torres' potential move to Real Madrid, who look like the biggest team interested in Pau Torres, could largely depend on Sergio Ramos' departure. Nothing's been agreed yet because he's out of contract this summer. I think he's talked to PSG. Man United confirmed that they haven't been speaking with the Spanish centre-half. And also, Real Madrid's pursuit in Pau Torres could largely depend on if Rafael Varane gets sold as well, as he's out of contract next summer. So could leave a little bit cheaper than he would. And he has been linked to Chelsea more than often. He's been linked to Chelsea on more than one occasion. And for £50 million, we could get the Frenchman who won the World Cup with France only a couple of years ago. So that is all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Comment down below what you thought of today's stories. I'll reply to every single one. I guarantee you that. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.